The solar system is an amazing place. We will begin our journey with a broad investigation of the cosmic bodies in our solar system. The Sun is gaseous. It is tilted at 7 degrees to the plane of the solar system. It also contains 99% of the mass of the solar system, but less than 1% of the angular momentum. The inner planets are solid because they're composed of stone and metal. The outer planets also have a solid component, but it is due to ices and relatively small amount of rock. Tiny Pluto is the only outer planet that is not dominantly composed of gas and ice. The outer planets have numerous moons of practically solid composition. Jupiter has at least 18 satellites. Saturn also has at least 18 satellites. Uranus 15 or more, and Neptune 8 or more. In simple language, angular momentum is a measure of the amount of spin power. The Earth at this moment is rushing in a slightly elliptical orbit around the Sun at a speed of about 107,000 kilometers per hour. Immense energy is bound up in the solar system. Scientists who are trying to deduce the origins of our solar system expect angular momentum to be distributed more or less evenly throughout the system. Simple calculations using the formula for angular momentum and easily accessible information reveals the intriguing fact that the Sun contains less than 1% of the total angular momentum of the solar system, but more than 99% of the mass. The inner planets also contain less than 1% of the angular momentum and a minute amount of the total mass, and the outer planets account for the remaining 99% of angular momentum. Scientists are baffled as to why the Sun, which contains so large a proportion of the mass, has such a comparatively small amount of angular momentum. The Sun and each of the planets navigate their paths around the gravitational centre of the solar system. If the Sun and planets originated from a single rotating disk of nebulous matter, then it would follow that they should be rotating at roughly the same speed. In fact, the opposite is true. The Sun, inner planets and outer planets each rotate around the centre of the solar system at very different rates. The disks illustrate this. Kevin Christianus and Bill Yen, in their 1991 Atlas of the Universe, described the solar system as full of intriguing similarities and inexplicable peculiarities, amazing in both its orderliness and diversity. It interests and confuses us, for as much as we are able to learn, our new knowledge serves only to inspire new questions. Imagine the primeval universe as our solar system was born in its embryonic form. Binary stars orbit each other, triple stars gyrate through nebulous space clouds, there were undoubtedly abundant arrangements of ancient space objects. The question that has science baffled is how such an organised system as our solar system came into existence. Where man has become baffled, the Bible steps in. The Bible obviously suggests that the solar system is a late completed composite. The stars and the lights in the heavens were only finalised on the 4th day, whereas the earth and plant life already existed on day 3. The centuries-old notion that the Sun and the planets must have all formed from a single rotating particle disk is obsolete. What is the meaning of these passages of Scripture? Where wast thou when I laid the foundations of the earth? Declare if thou hast understanding. Who hath laid the measures thereof, if thou knowest? Or who hath stretched the measuring line upon it? Whereupon are the foundations thereof fastened? Or who laid the cornerstone thereof? When the morning stars sang together, and all the sons of God shouted for joy. Job 38:4-7. The earth is the Lord's, and the fullness thereof, the world, and they that dwell therein. For he hath founded it upon the seas, and established it upon the floods. Psalm 24:1-2. These passages obviously refer to the origin of our earth. It will be helpful to understand that the distance between objects in space has been constantly increasing. We live in an expanding universe. Back when our solar system and the planets within it were being formed, space more resembled an ocean or nebulous sea. Since sound needs a substance, such as air, through which to travel, a denser universe may perhaps have transmitted sound and been affected by sound. When the Bible talks about morning stars singing together, it could be referring to sound. It could also be referring to other forces of nature, such as electricity and magnetism. Sound can be used to shepherd particles together, and magnetism and electricity may attract particles to each other. Even radio waves and light can cause microscopic particles to move. Turning to Psalm 24, what is meant by founded upon the seas, established upon the floods? The logical interpretation of this verse is that turbulent, water-like substances, including water, were involved in the formation of the Earth, and perhaps the other planets. Chemical analysis of some of the oldest mineral grains found on the Earth has revealed that they were formed in the presence of free water. Keep in mind our expanding universe, which was denser and more like a flood or sea when our planets formed. The Bible also makes it clear that the finalisation of the solar system in its current form, as observed from the Earth, occurred substantially later than the formation of the Earth and the origin of plant life. If we think of creative forces and combine this with space floods, the possibilities are immense. If protoplanets could form out of nebulous space floods, what other possibilities might exist? Practically unlimited numbers of cosmic combinations could have occurred in the vast expanse of stars and gas clouds we now call our universe.